Good morning, students. I welcome you all on this online teaching platform of Divine Public School, Mohanapur, Gorakhpur. I hope you all are fine and utilizing your time in studies. I welcome you all. Dear students, today I am going to teach you a very important chapter of class 12, subject English core. And that chapter is chapter number 3 from your textbook, Flamingo. And the name of the chapter is Deep Water. Dear student, this is part, or you can say video 1. As the chapter is too long and it's very important chapter as per the board examination. So I have divided this chapter in different videos, or you can say few videos, so that it can be very convenient. It will be very easier for you to understand the chapter very well, so that you can do well in your examination. So starting the chapter number 3, chapter name Deep Water, from your textbook Flamingo. Let's know something about the author. The author who has written this chapter, Deep Water, is William Douglas. His full name is William Orwell Douglas. William O. Douglas was born in 1898 and he died in 1980. He was born in USA. Douglas was a leading advocate of individual rights. He was a judge at the Supreme Court of USA. Retired in 1975 with a term lasting 36 years and remains the longest serving justice in the history of the court. Dear student, William Douglas was born in Maine, which is in Minnesota. After graduating with a Bachelor's of Arts in English and Economics, he spent 2 years teaching high school in Yakima, which is in Washington. However, he got tired of this and decided to pursue a legal career. He met Franklin D. Roosevelt at the place Yale and became an advisor and friend to the President of America. Douglas was a leading advocate of individual rights. He retired in 1975 with a term lasting 36 years and remains the longest service justice in the history of the court. This chapter, Deep Water, is an excerpt taken from Of Men and Mountains by William O. Douglas. It reveals how, as a young boy, William Douglas nearly drowned in a swimming pool. Now, in this essay, he talks about his fear of water and thereafter how he finally overcame it. The autobiographical part of the selection supports his discussion of fear. A first person narration of personal experience and account of the steps taken to overcome it make the essay quite interesting. Dear student, let's see the theme of the chapter. Now, in this essay, William O. Douglas talks about his fear of water and how he finally overcomes it by his courage, determination, hard work, strong willpower, perseverance, and the desire to learn. If these are practiced, we can definitely achieve success in all our endeavors. Now, here in this chapter, Douglas, as an adult, recounts a childhood experience of terror and his conquering of it because this experience had a deeper meaning for him. It is because only those who have stark terror and conquered it can appreciate this chapter. There is terror only in the fear of death. He quotes Roosevelt here, that means the President of America's statement, that means the quote, all we have to fear is fear itself. He draws larger meaning from this experience. Now the introduction of the chapter. Dear student, in this story, Douglas talks about his fear of water and how he finally overcomes it with strong willpower, courage, hard work, and firm determination. Once he took courage, the fear vanished. Now, in this chapter, William is narrating an incident in which he nearly drowned in a swimming pool. Dear students, there are many children who don't know how to swim, and when they are in water, they are scared. That is the fear of water. That fear of water haunts us throughout our life if we don't know how to swim. So, if till today you don't know how to swim, I would like to request you to go to some stadium or to swimming pool and learn swim. There you can learn how to swim by your practice, strong willpower, courage, hard work, and firm determination. So, in this chapter, William Douglas is narrating an incident in which he nearly drowned in a swimming pool and escapes a death. In this story, he also tells us his childhood fear of water and how he finally conquered the fear and overcame it. As this chapter is an excerpt taken from Of Men and Mountains, which is an autobiography of William O. Douglas. Dear students, autobiography means when we write the story of our life in our own words. That means here I mean to say that William shares his experiences of his childhood fear in his own simple language. In first person, it becomes easier to convey the readers. The writer gives the description of the incident, how he faced the death and experienced the death, how the fear kept haunted him, and finally how he overcame it. This is all about the chapter. Actually, Douglas wants to share the feeling of fear, which is psychological fear. When we are alone, we get scared, we are in fear. When we are in the darkness, we are in fear. So, there are many types of fear, or you can say phobia, a sort of phobia also, where people are scared of something. So, here the William Douglas is scared of water. So he shares the feeling of fear, which is psychological feeling. What are the impacts of fear of life on life, and what changes comes on one's life, and how to conquer the fear. Now, dear student, it's a real life personal experience of William Douglas. The writer guides us to conquer the fear, and the writer experiences further confirm the proverbial truth: where there is a will, there is a way. Now, coming to the chapter, William O. Douglas recalls a misadventure of childhood. It had happened when he was 10 or 11 years old. He had decided to learn to swim. There was a pool at the YMCA in Yakima, which was safe. Now, dear student, first of all, see the highlighted word in blue. The word is misadventure, which is the difficult word, and the meaning of misadventure is mischance or misfortune. So, here, as we all know, that the writer and the narrator is William Douglas, who is narrating an incident of childhood where he nearly died. When this incident happened, he was at the age of 10 or 11 years. At that time, because of this misadventure, he decided to learn to swim. So there was a pool at the YMCA. Now, dear students, let me tell you the full form of YMCA. Y stands for young, M stands for men's, C stands for Christian, A stands for association. That means the full form of YMCA is Young Men's Christian Association in Yakima. Yakima is a city in Washington state. Now, it is an organization. That means the YMCA is an organization which has centers in India and abroad countries. In Yakima city, there was a river named Yakima River. The Yakima River was very dangerous, or you can say very treacherous. Now, dear student, let me tell you something about Yakima River. The Yakima River is a tributary, that means the part of the Columbia River in eastern Washington, USA. The state, Yakima, is named after the indigenous Yakama people. Now, here comes the question, who are Yakama? Now, the Yakama is a Native American tribe inhabiting Washington state. So, as we are discussing, as we are talking about Yakima River, which is a dangerous river, for this reason, when mother came to know that her son William Douglas had decided to learn to swim, the mother continually warned against it and kept him reminded the details of each drowning in the river. Now, the warning and the reminder by the mother, this increases the fear of water in Douglas. His mother always warned him to be away or not to go in Yakima River to learn to swim, as Yakima River was dangerous and mother had been warning about the drowning people in that river. So William Douglas decided that he will learn to swim in YMCA, which was safe. It was only 2 or 3 feet deep at the shallow end and 9 feet deep at the other. The drop was gradual. Now, dear students, see the highlighted word in blue, shallow, which is a difficult word. So the meaning of the shallow is not deep. And the meaning of the difficult word gradual here is take place by steps. So, dear students, as Douglas had decided to learn to swim at the YMCA pool, which is in Yakima and which was safe to learn swimming. So, dear student, if you have ever seen the floor of swimming pool, how it is? It is like a drop. It means that slope from shallow end to the deep end. But here Douglas is saying that the pool drop was gradual, means the slope was not steep. Moreover, the shallow end, let me explain you the shallow end. Listen very carefully. Moreover, the shallow end was 2 or 3 feet deep. That means when someone or a child stands at the shallow end, he will not sink or drown. His face will not drown and his face will be out of water. So it is safe to stand at the shallow end, which is 2 or 3 feet deep only. That means when you stand over there, you are not going to sink or drown. But William Douglas never goes to the deep end, which was 9 feet, because he has yet to learn to swim. So he safely stands on the shallow end. He got a pair of water wings and went to the pool. He hated to walk naked into water and show his very thin legs. Now, as he had decided to learn to swim, but as he was in the process of learning to swim, or he has yet to learn to swim, so how to enter into the pool? So he purchased a pair of water wings. Now, dear student, the question arises here in your mind that what is water wings? You can see in the image a small child has attached on his arm. This is a kind of safety tube which small children use when they start learning to swim. As you can see in the arm of this small child. By the help of this, you don't drown in water. So here William says that when we go for swimming, we have to wear swimming costume in which all our body becomes naked, means without clothes. And you have to wear the special swimming costume, which William dislikes it. Now the question arises, why he disliked it? As he was very thin and lean, without muscular buildup, and his legs were thin, so he doesn't want to show his very thin legs to the pupil in the swimming pool. But as he had to learn to swim, then what to do? So he subdued his pride and did it. As he was keen desire to learn swimming, he gave up his self-respect and honor to overcome the fear of water. I mean to say, children, that in this William says that as he was in intense desire to learn swimming, he gave up his self-respect and wore the swimming costume which he disliked. Now coming to this slide, the author had developed an aversion to the water when he was 3 or 4. His father had taken him to the beach in California. They stood together on the surf. Before I explain this paragraph, dear students, see the highlighted word in blue, that is aversion, which is the difficult word. Here aversion means strong feeling of not liking something, or in a simple word you can say dislike. Aversion means dislike. So here William Douglas is telling one more story of his past, from where he had an aversion to the water. That means a dislike to the water. From the beginning, the author had developed an aversion. Aversion means dislike to the water. Here William recounts an old experience or incident which happened when he was at the age of 3 or 4 years. When one day his father took him to the California beach, they both together stood in the surf. Now, dear students, surf here means the waves of the sea, as you can see in the image. As William was a small child, and when the waves leapt towards him, he stuck to his father to save himself. But when the waves hit him, it makes the Douglas fall, or you can say threw him down. Now, dear students, say this. The waves knocked him down and swept over him. He was buried under water. His breath was gone. He was frightened. His father laughed. But the overpowering forces of the waves filled terror in the young author's heart. Now see the highlighted word in blue, knocked, which is the difficult word. Knocked means giving them a hard blow. Overpowering means extremely strong or intense. Terror means feeling of extreme fear. That means knocked meaning giving them a hard blow. The meaning of overpowering is extremely strong or intense, and the meaning of terror here is feeling of extreme fear. So as William was a small child, and when the waves leapt towards him, he stuck to his father to save himself. But when the waves hit him, it makes the Douglas fall, or you can say threw him down, and he was covered in water. He was scared as he could not breathe. His father laughed, thinking that there is no harm in it, and tried to make him feel comfortable. But the little child, William Douglas, was scared when he realized that the waves were so powerful. And the waves were so powerful, and this terror, the feeling of extreme fear, filled in the young author's heart. Unpleasant memories were revived when he went to the YMCA pool for the first time. Childish fear was stirred, but soon he gathered confidence. He watched other boys paddling on water with their water wings. Now once again see the difficult words. Revived means brought back. Stirred means to set in motion. Paddling means moved on water. And water wings, apparatus to help swimming. So here Douglas says that when he joined the swimming pool at the YMCA, the fear of water and unpleasant memories in his mind were brought back. He recalls all his past memories, even his childhood fear, the fear of water. But after spending few days in the pool, slowly and slowly, he started generating confidence to stay in water. By the help of his water wings, he paddled and swam in the pool. He tried to learn by imitating them. He did this 2 or 3 times on different days. He was just beginning to feel comfortable in the water when the misadventure happened. Now, see the difficult word highlighted in blue, imitating, which means copying. So, William Douglas here says that by watching other boys swim, he tried to copy them. That means he tried to copy the other children who were a good swimmer, how they are giving the strokes, how they are lifting their legs, how they are moving their arms. So he tried to copy the strokes of the boys who were good swimmer. He did so 2 or 3 times on different days. This way he was learning to swim and began to feel comfortable when the incident happened where he had a narrow escape from death. When he went to the pool, there was no one else. So he sat on the side of the pool to wait for others. Now, dear student, when William reached the pool, no one was there in the pool. So, what to do? As he was learning to swim, so he sat on the edge, waiting for other boys to arrive. He was afraid to swim all alone in the pool. As the swimming pool was empty, no one was there. William could see the bottom also. It had white colored tiles on it and looked white and clean, like a bathtub. Shortly afterwards came a big bruiser of a boy. He was probably 18 years old and had beautiful muscles on his legs and arms. It had not been long since William had been sitting by the pool. While he was sitting, a boy arrived. He was around 18 years of age. He had well-built body. He had thick hair on his chest. He was a beautiful physical specimen with arms and legs that showed rippling muscles. He called the author skinny and asked how he would like to be plunged in water. That means that means this boy, the big bruiser, he was not knowing that William Douglas doesn't know to swim. In a fun, in a joke, he asked William if he wanted to be thrown into the pool. Now, here the skinny means very thin and plunged means jump or dive. So the boy yelled to Douglas and asked him if he wanted to be thrown into the pool. The boxer boy picked Douglas and threw him into the deep end. He struck water in a sitting position. He swallowed water and at once went to the bottom. The boy picked him and threw him into the deep end of the swimming pool. He landed on the surface of the pool in the same position as he had been sitting in. His mouth was open, and as he did not know swimming properly, he swallowed water as he sank into the pool. He was frightened but did not lose his wits. He made a plan. He would make a big jump when his feet hit the bottom. He would come to the surface like a cork, lie flat on it, and then paddle to the edge of the pool. Now see the difficult word wits. Wits here means the capacity for inventive thought and quick understanding. He was frightened as he was picked up and thrown by that big bruiser into the deep end of the swimming pool. He landed on the surface of the pool in the same position, that means the sitting position. His mouth was open, so he swallowed water as he sank in the pool. And because of this, he was frightened. But he used his intelligence, and on his way down to the pool, planned to push himself up when he reached the bottom like a cork. If you have seen the wine bottle, on the top of the wine bottle there is a cork. When you throw the cork into the water, it first goes down and immediately quickly comes up and floats on the surface of the water. So in the same way, he thought that he would make a big jump to the surface, lie on his back and swim to the edge of the pool and paddle to the edge of the pool. Those 9 feet appeared more than 90. Before he touched bottom, his lungs were ready to burst. When his feet hit the bottom, he made a great jump upwards, but he failed to reach the surface at once. He came up slowly. His eyes and nose came out of water, but not his mouth. He moved around his legs on the surface of water. He swallowed water and choked. He tried to bring his legs up, but they hung as dead weights. He again went down to the bottom of the pool. Now, when he was thrown into the pool by that big bruiser boy in the deep end, which was 9 feet, he took a long time to reach to the bottom of the pool. It seemed to the Douglas that the depth was 90 feet instead of 9 feet. He could not hold his breath and felt as if his lungs would burst because the lungs were filled by water and it was paining. When his feet touched the bottom of the pool, he gathered all his strength and jumped upwards. He had that the next moment he would come out of the pool, but the opposite happened. His movement upwards was slow, and when he opened his eyes, he saw water all around, which was yellowish in color. That means he was still under the water or below the surface of the water. William got scared. William was at a loss of breath and tried to scream for help, but no sound came out of his mouth. He wanted to scream for help. He wanted to give a shout. He wanted to give a cry, but no sound came out of his mouth. His nose and eye came out of the water slowly, but his mouth remained in it. That means only his eye and nose came out of the water, but his mouth remained inside the water. He tried hard to come on the surface of water by moving and bringing up his legs, but they hung as dead weights. It seems that his legs and arms were paralyzed. They were not working, they were not obeying the order of his brain. So he again went down to the bottom of the pool. Now here students, I have given you a few question answers. Question 6. First question, what is the misadventure that William Douglas speaks about? Question number 2, when did Douglas decide to learn swimming? Question number 3, which factors led Douglas to decide in favor of the YMCA pool? Question 4, what two things did Douglas dislike to do? Question 5, how did Douglas initially feel when he went to the YMCA pool? Question 6, how was the result of the great spring upwards that Douglas made on hitting the bottom of the pool for the first time? So here 6 questions are there for you all to write in your homework copy. You have to answer the following questions. You have to show me the answer when the school reopens. Now here few things are there which you have to do. You have to find out, are there any water sports in India? Find out about the areas or places which are known for water sports. People say that failures are the stepping stones. They are the best teacher. Write an article on the aphorism. Is it clear, students? Now, dear students, this was video 1. In the video 2, I will continue the chapter. I will explain you each and everything, what were the effects, how he managed to learn to swim, how he conquered the fear of water, everything you are going to be explained by me in the coming videos. But right now, I thank you all for watching and listening this video number 1. Thank you, students.